Hello and a very warm welcome to Samsung Solve for Tomorrow 2024, a national education and innovation competition for the next generation. Through this initiative, Samsung aims to empower the youth of India to create STEM solutions for issues that are affecting our nation. The journey to find the best innovative ideas has just begun. So today we delve into a discussion to see how CSR programs like Solve for Tomorrow can contribute to creating an innovation ecosystem and promoting solutions for sustainability, especially among the youth. Joining us on this show are Mr. Shambi Sharp, United Nations Resident Coordinator, Dr. Sapna Poti, Senior Director, Office of Principal, Scientific Advisor.
Hello.
Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, Senior Director and Scientist, MeitY. And Mr. Shubham Mukherjee, Head CSR and COPSCOM, Samsung Southwest Asia. Well, welcome to you, all the gentlemen and lovely lady. Mr. Mukherjee, I'll start with you. First of all, congratulations on the third edition of Solve for Tomorrow. This is one project of yours that is close to your heart. Could you elaborate on Samsung's vision behind the project, and also what are the outcomes that company wants to achieve with this initiative?
While innovation is central to a nation's growth, sustainability is critical for our existence. With Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, we are doing both. Solve aims to foster creativity and a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship among students by encouraging them to tackle real-world problems using STEM. What is important is that it's also contributing to solutions for long-term sustainable development goals. See, the primary outcome Samsung aspires to achieve is to inspire the next generation of innovators and problem solvers. But we're doing it along with addressing social and environmental challenges. We already have 6 winning teams from 2 editions of Solve. We want to build and continue this legacy of not just innovation, but also transformation by supporting education and empowering students to make a positive impact on their communities. We hope to contribute to a brighter future. It's part of Samsung's value of ensuring co-prosperity. And it is also aligned with our broader CSR vision of Together for Tomorrow, enabling people.
Well, how wonderful. And all the stakeholders here, I guess, all speak the same language. Mr. Sharp, considering the United Nations Sustainable Goal number 9, which emphasizes on industry, innovation and infrastructure, how do you see properties and initiatives like Solve for Tomorrow bridge that gap and talk about industrialization in the new light, foster innovation, particularly among the youth in various countries?
You know, to answer the question, let me first step back for a moment and say that, you know, anybody who's opening up, turning on the television, reading the newspaper, is reading about this world in crisis, right? So we're seeing wars, we're seeing the hottest year ever on record, maybe in 100,000 years. We're seeing that the Sustainable Development Goals are very much off track, only 15% essentially on track. So we see this crisis everywhere we look. And I think this is all about, though, finding the opportunities, the hope, the optimism, and we see, I think, the confluence of several important streams here. One is India. India is bringing to the global stage a number of different reasons to be optimistic. 1/6 of humanity, the world's greatest youth generation, investing massively in innovation and in digital public infrastructure, renewable energies, these sorts of things. India also has an incredibly vibrant private sector, you know, business economy, and we see this public-private partnership, this space where you've got government through the CSR law and private sector really tapping on the potential that India has to help drive the Sustainable Development Goals, not just here in India, but really at a global scale. That's why this is so important, and that's why we're so excited, the United Nations are so excited to engage not just with Indian private sector on sustainability, but specifically with Samsung Solve for Tomorrow.
Dr. Poti, if I may get you in the discussion, we now speak about PSA particularly and about the indigenous research. We also speak about innovation in crucial sectors like education, healthcare, and agriculture. While on the one hand, we see a lot of development and a lot of funding go into all the development projects, research is an area that across the world wants more passion and also alignment with the national agenda of tech self-reliance. If we have to talk about that, then it has to also come from the research side of things. Sure. So if you could tell us about some of the strategies that PSA is adopting for the same.
Right. For all of you, Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India largely is an apex body, and the PSA himself is one of the finest scientists. And we have something called the Prime Minister's Science Technology Innovation Council here. It's called PM Stack, and their role is largely to look at all the different missions and all the different challenges which India has and aligning these missions to those challenges. The whole idea is how do you look at various scientific areas and scientific interventions which are required through the lens of the experts.
Dr. Chatterjee, could you explain to us how MeitY is fostering an innovative ecosystem, and what are some of your flagship programs that are able to do so?
Our ministry is the Line Ministry for the Digital Technology. Is the forefront of our aspiration of $5 trillion economy, and it will be at least contributing the 25% of the GDP. We have more than 70 center of excellences in the sector specific. Yeah. They are actually infusing a startup not only in the normal sectors but deep tech startup. We found that all emerging technology will play a role in our entire process. Very recently we come out with a Genesis program where the tier 2, tier 3 city were infusing the startup culture, and we will be having a different 4-layer of funding scheme, and 4% of the Genesis fund will be used for a deep tech startup. They may be in the tier 1 city.
Very interesting.
So these are the various programs we have taken to infuse the entire culture.
That's quite an exhaustive and very impressive list there. Mr. Mukherjee, all your stakeholders are sitting here, collaborators are sitting here with you. How does Samsung collaborate with all of these organizations, whether it is MeitY, PSA or the United Nations, and how does it support your goal of sustainable development and also your agenda with the youth?
Well, thank you for that question. Samsung collaborates with organizations like the MeitY, the UN, and the PSA to broaden reach, participation, and impact of the program. The collaborations are created to develop mechanisms that empower the youth to tackle sustainability challenges. It brings together technological expertise of the partners and mentorship at every level to help students solve pressing global issues. The most specific outcomes and success stories are not too far from us. We saw a glimpse of it during the launch of Solve for Tomorrow 2024, when a lot of you were there, where 3 winning teams from 2023 joined us. They have developed innovative solutions for clean energy and waste management. Besides, we have a 16-year-old boy who cares about having more women in STEM. He created a prize-winning solution to encourage women in STEM. Now, how many of us are treading on those lines?
Mr. Sharp, how wonderful to hear about a young boy who is trying to make this very important, driving a very important change, such as getting more women thrive and sustain their careers in the STEM industry. And talking about this huge demographic advantage that India has, what has your experience been when it has come to youth-led initiatives, and how are they making progress in India?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think India has a demographic dividend, as you said. I mean, like no country has ever had. The greatest youth generation, more young minds to tap for solutions than any point in history. This is amazing. And the best part of my job is I get to travel around the country, this incredibly diverse, beautiful country, seeing the different partnerships that the UN system, the UN agencies have, getting out into communities, into villages, and everywhere, without exception, I see young people, young Indians, doing incredible things. So this really is about providing them with the means to really scale up. Right. That's what I like about this Solve for Tomorrow, is that it's providing a package of different layers of support: financial, mentorship, incubation, these sorts of things. So I think, really this again gives us hope, because when you bring together this demographic dividend, youth generation, and also the gender dividend, as India increasingly engages and leads on gender equality, then the future looks very bright.
Dr. Poti, in your role, what measures are being taken to bridge the gap between scientific research on one side and practical application on the other, especially when we are trying to look for a solve for rural communities? How does that all come together?
Right. I'm sure most of you are aware that our first principal scientific advisor was Dr. Abdul Kalam. And now we have the fourth principal scientific advisor, Professor Ajay Sood. Dr. Kalam was the one who started Pura, which is very much related to rural development. And Professor Sood also has been focusing a lot on something which is called RUTAC, Rural Technologies. And these are by 8 IITs at this juncture, but we are also looking at expanding that. From the time that the students actually immerse themselves in rural communities, study the challenges that maybe a farmer or a lady who's working on the handloom sector, or people who are trying to work on textiles and so on. So there are several areas, right, including a vendor for vegetables, for instance. So they understand their challenges and develop these technologies. Some of us also look at how we could bring in NGOs and civil societies into this, and the social impact projects which are brought up are also solved by the youth here. Just like how we have banks as our customers, we also look at farmers as our customers, or any of these rural communities as our customers, and we try and understand what exactly is the technology that they require. And depending on that, the research is done and the research outcome becomes an innovation.
Dr. Chatterjee, this is a great collaboration between you and Solve for Tomorrow, Samsung's initiative. What excites you the most about this partnership?
So along with government support, this type of program what Samsung is coming up, it is actually add-on mentoring to those startup companies, hand-holding, and also commercialization. This is the space we require help, assistance from various organizations. This is one of such organizations. They are coming up. It's a very welcome step for the country.
Well, at this point, we'll take a very short break. Stay tuned as the discussion continues on the other side. You're watching Samsung Solve for Tomorrow 2024. Welcome back. You're watching Samsung Solve for Tomorrow 2024, a national education and innovation competition for the next generation. I have with me a panel of experts sharing their insights on fostering an innovation ecosystem in our country for the greater good. Continuing on the same vein, Mr. Mukherjee, I want to now bring in the aspect of scalability. It is so important to talk about initiatives that can also be scaled for the larger good and also can be replicated, right? Where do you see the program pitched to have a broader impact?
Mugdha, if you ask me, impactful youth-led programs like Solve for Tomorrow thrive on its scalability and replicability. Our approach is to provide comprehensive support and resources to the youth at every stage of Solve. This includes funding, mentorship, and access to expert networks. The program can also encourage knowledge sharing and collaboration among the youth to catalyze further innovation and replication efforts. It's a constant journey of creating an innovation ecosystem.
Mr. Sharp, we speak about such ecosystems between the UN and some of the technology-driven companies, the kind of collaboration that you are seeing and is now set in motion. What are some of the outcomes that you have celebrated in the past?
So we in the UN are partnering with a number of different companies, of course, Samsung, and we've got the global UNDP Samsung partnership with a number of different companies and a broad range of, artificial intelligence and different sort of innovative ways to approach traditional old challenges like that. And I think, you were asking about scale. That's what's really so important about the work here in India, is that we estimate that something like 1/3 to even 1/2 of some of the global goals needs to, and we believe will be achieved here in India. So as India achieves, truly the world has a chance to achieve the SDGs. That's why this partnership is so critically important.
When we talk about these partnerships, Dr. Poti, we also are looking at some very pertinent questions that industry is facing as a whole to be answered by these partnerships and collaborative efforts. And one of them is skill development. Do you see somewhere we can see a solution for skill development, especially in this changing time when everybody needs to adapt to technology and also innovative innovation and sustainability, the big words, they're all coming together. And then at the heart of it is skill development of the young. So how do you think that can come together with this initiative?
First of all, be it youth or children, they need to get into the fact that they will be employed or will be self-employed, and hence they need to start early in terms of thinking creatively, having mentors very soon in life, looking at innovations, also using the science and technology, the science that they learn in school or in colleges, and how they use that for development of technologies and so on. Skill development should not be just supply driven. My earlier avatar was in the Ministry of Skill Development in the National Skill Development Corporation, and what we felt over there was that it has to be demand driven. So it's not possible for us to keep infusing thoughtless skill development, right? We need to have a complete employment-oriented, skill development where we also look at employer owning it, which also means that all the demand is actually captured, and then the supply is aligned to the demand. That's very important.
Dr. Chatterjee, I know you did speak about this and about your love for technology, and also you gave some brilliant examples, but could you also elaborate on how radical innovations can, especially those driven by technology, can be utilized to address environmental challenges?
First of all, the mentorship is required. Like I'm taking one small example. Earlier, the soldering was done with the lead. As you all know, the lead is a carcinogenic. So, last 15 years, lead is replaced with tin. So, there are many hazardous materials in the product. So, we have eliminated them either through a design change or replacing material with a superior material. So, one is green material use in the entire product. Design should be such so that product can have a longer life, second life. So, these are all sustainability issues, and from government side we can do green procurement, okay. So, that can also push the company to enforce the different design, so that you have a green aspects of the products. So, these are all many things which actually support the sustainability in future, where materials will be required less, but the function of the product will be manifold. So, this is one such example I can say.
Well, we are talking about promoting youth, promoting innovation and sustainability via them. How has the collaboration of UN and Samsung come together with this?
India is increasingly a leading voice, both for the Global South, but also in terms of public-private partnerships and sustainability. We saw that with India's leadership on the G20, for example, really putting the Sustainable Development Goals at the core of the New Delhi Declaration, putting gender equality at the core of that, and really setting the tone, not just for the Global South, but for the entire world as well. So I think this is all about incentivizing partnerships, bringing together catalytic connections. The CSR law, India's CSR law, I think has delivered tremendous results. We see now something like $3.3 billion a year going into CSR. And of course, this is all part of a larger initiative to help ensure that India's businesses are integrating sustainability into the core business, into the core value chains everywhere we look. And it's really about understanding that together the challenges are great, as has been mentioned, but the solutions are even greater. So I always like to say, साथ है तो संभव है.
साथ है तो संभव है, बिल्कुल. Taking the साथ है तो संभव है thread forward, Dr. Poti, CSR campaigns all require public and private partnership coming together between the corporate stakeholders and also government research institutions. I believe you have a platform like that that enables this synergy to happen. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. So this platform is called Manthan. Manthan means churning of ideas, as you are aware. So we had this huge demand side and the supply side, you know. So any grassroots innovator or any innovator or researcher in India, how they could provide, you know, solutions to the entire demand side, and that's how we developed Manthan. So we have women in STEM, we have R&D, as well as market-ready innovations. We have an entire showcase, also the demand of problem statements. And so that's why this platform has been quite interesting. We have achieved about 7,500 crores worth of problem statements that we have sourced, just a couple of us in the office. And we have several institutes and startups which are benefiting out of that.
Mr. Mukherjee, how do you envision Solve for Tomorrow helping in scaling that ambition and also more environmental friendly, so to say, the demographic friendly initiatives that can come together with this property?
Sure. Technology plays a really pivotal role in driving innovation for sustainability. With Solve for Tomorrow, we empower the youth to solve pressing issues around SDGs and develop innovative solutions using STEM and design thinking, and not just technology. For 3 years now, we have constantly been scaling the program. We have expanded the scope in a way that we include as many young students as we can. With every year, we have been able to get more students to participate. As part of this effort to grow the army of solvers, this year, we have created 2 separate tracks. School track for those between 14 and 17, and youth track, those between 18 and 22. Each of them are dedicated to championing a specific theme. Both the tracks will run simultaneously, ensuring equal opportunity and a level playing field for all students. So you see, a new age group has been added to the program for finding solutions from a fresh perspective.
Well, thank you so much for all the insights. This was such an enriching panel and a discussion. Thank you so much for that. And thank you also for your time and coming to the studios. And all the very best for Solve for Tomorrow as we head into season 3 of it.
Thank you, Mukta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now as we conclude, let's harness the insights shared today to propel the momentum towards a future where youth-led innovation drives sustainable solutions. Let's head the collective call to action, forging partnerships and leveraging technology to create a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow for generations to come. That's all from all of us here today. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.